Hello and welcome back to my channel and to another weekly What I Have Watched, and unbelievably I'm recording this on Monday. I'm on the ball this week, what can I say? Let me get on. I haven't watched much this week, guys, so apologies for that. Okay, so last week I spoke about Untold, Deal with the Devil, which was the documentary about the female boxer, which I thoroughly recommend. It's full of twists and turns, really recommend that one. I touched on this next one, Pray Away. I will tell you again, in case you didn't watch last week, what Pray Away is about. I won't talk too much because I will rant. Pray Away is about conversion therapy in America. This program's very much put across as people that used to be involved in it and have since realised the error of their ways. And it was supposed to be like an exposure piece, I suppose, but I felt personally they gave way too much time to these just maniacs, these idiots. I'm sure everyone knows what conversion therapy is. It's where these poor individuals are shipped off somewhere by generally their family. Sometimes they even believe themselves that, you know, they're gay, and that doesn't fit in with their families or someone's idea of what they want for this person's life, so they believe that someone can make them heterosexual, which is just ridiculous. And this follows some people that have been through that have received this therapy, some people that are responsible for carrying out this therapy, and then it speaks to people years later that obviously realise the ridiculousness of the whole thing. Again, too much time given to these idiots and not enough condemnation, in my opinion. I know everyone's entitled to their opinion about these things, but when you're arguing with fact, you don't have an opinion, you're just an ignoramus, really. So anyone that has any belief in conversion therapy, just toddle on out and hit that unsubscribe button on my channel, please. I've no time for it. On the same evening now, these are all popping up at the minute. I'm not some sort of like weird, just morbid, well, maybe I am actually. This is a documentary about 9/11. Obviously one of the most just harrowing days in history in the US. Every single person I know knows exactly where they were when this happened. I myself was training for a position in a bank that I worked in, and we were like locked in all day. Someone came in midway through our training and said, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center. This was at the stage where there were only one, and we were all really shocked. And then nothing until I got home that night from work at like maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, and obviously the whole day had played out and all that was on telly was what had happened, and I had no words. It was just devastating. I have watched quite a few documentaries. Obviously we're coming up to the 20th anniversary, so there are a lot of programmes being put on at the minute. So this one, 102 Minutes That Changed America, this needed to be 4 times as long as it was. It didn't cover the people in the plane that was diverted. It didn't cover really the Pentagon situation. It didn't cover the situation of any of the poor people that were in the plane that hit the Trade Center planes. I wanted to hear people's personal stories. I wanted, you know, you sit and look at a number and you look at what's happening to a building and you look at the actual event, but I wanted to hear people's individual stories of their loved ones, it just didn't give enough in that respect. 2.5 out of 5 I gave it. It's one of those things, you can't really recommend things that are just upsetting, and it is, but yeah, I just felt they could have went more in depth about the people rather than just the event itself. I suppose it's called 102 Minutes That Changed America, so it's about the event. I watched, now this one was actually quite interesting. Again, I could have watched much longer on this one. This is a documentary, only an hour long, about forensic scientists trying to identify people that have never been identified from tiny like pieces of bone and things. And they've tested these items like 6-7 times with different techniques as they've improved through the years, and they're able to send remains back to the loved ones to have burials. And it was discussing different DNA techniques, and it was quite interesting from a scientific point of view. I've always been, you know, that's what I wanted to study in university, is like forensics and criminology, that sort of tying together So I found it very interesting from a scientific point of view. I have to say, while I'm talking about this, I watched a programme which I haven't noted down, and it was about a woman. What was her name? Tanya? Cannot remember her surname. If you look up Tanya 9/11, you'll find her. This woman pretended that she was in one of the towers and her fiance died in the other tower. Is it Tanya Head? And she got to be like the head of the victims network things, and she took people on tours of Ground Zero. And the woman was lying. She wasn't even there. She didn't have a fiance. She linked herself to some poor guy that died, and his family saying, "We've never heard of this woman." Her name wasn't even Tanya. Her name was Alicia. But she invented a whole story, and as is always the case, liars lie and forget what they lie about, so she would trip herself up all the time. But she's very well known, and she was like head of all the survivors looked up to her. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. There's a documentary on YouTube about her if you want to watch it. I just was repulsed. Then I watched Candyman. I went to the cinema with Darren. We had a rare, I will have put up that actually so you can see that. Okay, so names. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Loved him. Really, really liked this guy's performance. Everyone's performance was spot on. Cinematography was really good. Sound design was really good. You could really see Jordan Peele's influence in parts of it. Me and my husband just got caught up in the fact that we liked the social commentary and the fact that Candyman is really representative of injustice throughout the ages, throughout the years. And that made sense to me and I liked that. But what didn't tie with me is then why would this representation be coming back and killing innocent people for no reason? I could understand they should have had him kill, racists, just horrible people, people doing really nasty things, and it would almost have put the social aspect across a bit more. It just didn't tie with me that we're trying to represent social injustice by carrying out more injustice. That didn't tie for me. Other than that, it was a very well made film. I loved the use of puppetry in it. I loved as I said, the soundtrack. The sound design was really good. Performances were excellent. But it wasn't, I didn't love it as much as everyone else just for that reason. Okay. On that evening, I watched a new one on Netflix called Fear of Rain. This is about a young girl who's schizophrenic. She lives with her parents, and it shows this really traumatic event at the start of the movie, which she has, I suppose, imagined has happened to her. And she witnesses something criminal, that's the only way I'll put it. And she cannot work out in her own mind if she really witnessed this or if this is all a part of her schizophrenia. She doesn't just have the auditory voices, she actually has visual hallucinations also. So it's trying to convince other people that she has seen something and something's happening, and other people are not believing or they aren't buying it, and she is trying to wrestle with herself. Did I see this? Is this real? Even to the point of people in her life that she meets. Is this person that I've met real, or have I invented them? So quite interesting. I wouldn't say it was fantastic. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5. It was okay. It was worth a watch, but it was all a bit too neatly tied up in a bow, and it was very, very predictable. Myself and my husband got where we were going with the movie about a third of the way in. I'd still recommend watch it. It's not too bad. And then, oh god, talking about repugnant people. This is a new documentary on Netflix. It's 4 parts. If you can watch it without swearing or get through it without feeling really angry, well done. Idolized medium, I can't even pronounce it, right, I'm not going to try. This guy rises to international fame before horrifying abuse is revealed by survivors, prosecutors and the press. This guy is one of these spiritual healers. You know when you see footage of people being touched in the head and falling to the ground and shaking and all this palaver? He does this and he claims to be able to heal the uncurable. He performs surgery in front of loads of people. Surgery, like in one example, a woman has a brain tumour. He puts a pair of scissors up her nose and twists it 21 times. And he says to her, "Count with me." And he does it 21 times. And directly after, she's really lightheaded. She's carried out. and she goes to the bathroom and it doesn't show this bit, she says this afterwards, she's violently ill, and she says that she brings up something in the sink that looked like a stick, and she claims that it completely cured her. There are other people that have similar claims, someone that had heart disease, a couple of people that had cancer. In the little bit of gumph at the end where it tells you what happened, most of these people ended up dying of what the initial thing was they had wrong with them. So I don't know if it was that they were so brainwashed that they believed this guy had cured them, I'm not sure. But this guy people would come up with sticks, struggling to walk, and he would touch their head, and then he would take their stick, and they would turn to walk away and want their stick, and he would say, no, you don't need this. And the person would be hobbling off, really struggling with no stick, and he's got their stick, so that he can have this big bundle, look at all these sticks of all these people that I have cured. But not only is this guy a repugnant phony, this guy starts to hire people that he calls psychics or mediums, and he will like handpick like people out of the audience. Why are you here? You're a medium. Do you not realise you've got this ability? And he would have like a row of chairs and all these normal people that he said were mediums sat on them. Now there were some like normal Joe Blogs, but he would handpick a lot of very attractive young women in these chairs, and he would go on to physically abuse these women over the years. The man's just repugnant, and that's what it's about. I don't really need to go into anything more. Okay, so that's all I have on my Letterboxd for the week. I just wrote down on a little note a couple of other things I was watching that I can't log on there. Right. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime at the moment called Serial Killer Earth. That sounds a bit warped. It's basically about disasters. It is a bit warped, but it's about things that Mother Nature creates that, like, you know, there's like floods, the tsunamis in it, hurricanes, avalanches, and it's basically just about Mother Nature's most destructive acts, really. Quite interesting. I like that sort of thing, so I watched that. Dr. G Medical Examiner is on Prime. I was obsessed. Jan Garvalio, I think her name is. She is a coroner. I just to watch this woman just constantly. She would it was like a true crime case, but from the point of view of the coroner, and she would have to examine the body and find out what happened to this person, like a true documentary. But in case you're a bit concerned, you don't see any dead person, you don't see the body or anything. That's all blurred out. Personally, I would like to see the autopsies because I find that really interesting, but this does not show them. But some of the things that's happened to people and the minute details she can go into about the chain of events with people, it's like a mystery with a solution at the end. It's really interesting. So Dr. G Medical Examiner, I'm watching a lot of that. Bizarre ER. I'm really just telling you folks how warped I am here. This is basically a fly-on-the-wall show set in an emergency department with really bizarre stuff that comes in, just weird stuff. And I love the bizarre, I love the weird, I like quite horrible things, to be quite honest. So yeah, Bizarre ER, so I'm watching that. And finally, I watched a series this week which took up most of my film watching time called Clickbait. Now, I'm one of these that can binge something. And I know Sean from Lost in the Real watched this and he binged it, but my husband was watching it with me and he really can't watch more than a couple at once and then he wants to switch it off. So there's 8 episodes in this, so we had to watch it over 4 nights so we could watch it together. This is a series on Netflix. It's a new one about a guy that is he's kidnapped. Now, this is not a spoiler, this is the premise of the show. This happens at the start. This guy is kidnapped and a viral video is leaked with him looking a bit, you know, roughed up, a bit bloody, holding up signs that basically say, if this video hits 5 million likes, I will die. And the movie follows trying to get to the bottom of who has taken him, where is he, is some of the stuff that's on the signs he's holding up true, has he been leading a secret life that his whole family didn't know about. It's very much a programme that twists and turns a lot. I thought I had figured out what was going on. Me and my husband had different viewpoints. He thought one person was responsible, I thought someone else was responsible, and it got to the end and we were both wrong. And I really don't think anyone will guess where this is going. I think because it comes so out of left field, that it's like, oh my god, I never considered that for a second, but it ties together nicely. It makes sense when they explain why. So yeah, I would recommend Clickbait. I did enjoy it. What did no, I'm just not on Letterboxd. I would say 3.5, 4 out of 5. I think it is enjoyable. I'm thinking, what am I going to be watching over the next week? What did I watch? I think I just watched loads of, when I'm not in the mood to concentrate, that's when I watch all these little Dr. J's Bizarre ERs, just easy stuff to watch. People are saying easy stuff to watch, Lisa. There's something wrong with you. There is probably something wrong with me. So I want to go see at the cinema. I don't think I'm going to get to go this week. I wanted to see Night House, but there's just so much happening this week. It's so busy. There's a few movies on my radar I want to check out that have popped up on Netflix. Series. I want to start watching The Chair. There's another series about an amnesiac girl, which I want to watch and I've forgotten the name. But yeah, I'll not waffle anymore, guys. That's what I've watched this week. Is there anything you can recommend to me that you've checked out recently that I should see? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on anything I've talked about, and I shall see you next week for another What I've Watched. Over and out from Lisa Loves.